to go to the
Yeah.
river. We don't have to pay the extra money for you to carry the
Yeah.
water.
I think this water system would help us better now.
Testimonies of government partnerships working for the people. Stick around for the details. I'm Adrian Atkinson and you're watching Jamaica Magazine. It's a new day with lots to be grateful for. And as author and motivational speaker Amy Collette puts it, gratitude is a powerful catalyst for happiness. It's the spark that lights a fire of joy in your soul. Let's choose to be happy today. Reggae Month 2020 is here and a host of activities are in store across the island. Echoes of sound systems, Reggae Wednesdays, Reggae Gospel Concert, Bob Marley 75th birthday celebrations, Doria Honours Award, Reggae Film in the Park, Children of the Icon Store concert and more. Keep up to date on all the activities. Download the new Reggae Month mobile app. Simply search the words Reggae Month Jamaica in the Google Play or App Store. The app will also allow you to add and promote your own Reggae Month activity. So what are you waiting for? Download away and make use of this innovative technology today. Reggae Month 2020. Come catch the rhythm.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, February 13. The first patient placed in isolation has returned a negative test for COVID-19, previously known as the novel coronavirus. The Ministry of Health and Wellness says the results were received yesterday from the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention. The patient, who arrived on the island from China on January 30, had been placed in isolation and will now be discharged. A sample taken from a second person who was isolated on February 10 is now being tested at the Caribbean Public Health Agency. CARFA is also testing a sample taken from a third Jamaican who has been isolated after arriving in Montego Bay from China with a fever on February 11. In the meantime, the Health and Wellness Ministry is reminding the public to protect themselves from infection through frequent hand washing, coughing and sneezing into tissue and discarding it, as well as avoiding contact with ill persons. Major development works will start on 4 health centers in St. James within the next 2 months. This will benefit about 15,000 residents and 70 healthcare workers across the 4 communities served by the Granville, Adelphi, Barrettstown, and Flanker Health Centers. At the recent launch of the program, Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton said it was in line with government's 10-year strategic development plan for the sector.
Apart from the upgrades that will be done, there's also going to be more personnel, more equipment, and greater levels of curative services.
The program is spearheaded by the Jamaica Social Investment Fund and is being financed by a European Union-funded health center expansion program at a cost of $154 million.
The European Union is strongly committed to both national and global health security. Here in Jamaica, this is why we have focused our efforts and encouraged other actors to do so.
The Ministry of Transport will be purchasing additional buses to sustain daily deployment and improve service delivery at the nation's state-owned bus company. This was announced during Tuesday's ceremonial opening of Parliament, and our reporter, Lorraine Mendez, was there and filed this report.
Commuters using the Jamaica Urban Transit Company Limited JUTC could soon be riding in electric buses. This as Governor General Sir Patrick Allen, in his throne speech Tuesday, announced that 45 electric buses would be added to the JUTC's fleet.
The projected benefits of implementing this initiative is quite significant and include energy saving, environmental preservation, and the reduction of the national fuel bill.
The JUTC is projected to spend $2.96 billion on fuel costs for the 2020-2021 financial year. This was outlined in the Jamaica Public Body's estimates of revenue and expenditure for the year ending March 2021, which was tabled in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. The bus company is projected to earn $4.5 billion during the upcoming fiscal year when compared to its total operating expenses forecast of $12.5 billion. The JUTC intends to increase operational efficiency by completing the implementation of an oil filtration system of 300 buses and refurbishing 15 damaged buses to facilitate their return to service. Other measures include enhancing its fleet management and bus tracking system, and improving the fare collection system. Reporting for JIS News outside Gordon House, I'm Lorraine Mendez.
The Ministry of National Security will be spending $400 million under its security strengthening project in the new fiscal year. The information is outlined in the estimates of expenditure for the 2020-2021 financial year. Of the $400 million, $273 will be used to purchase and install equipment. These include management systems for case, jail, and station records. Equipment will also be purchased for the Firearm Licensing Authority, interconnection between agencies, as well as connectivity and surveillance at the Jamaica Constabulary Force and the Department of Correctional Services. The overall objective of the project is to build capacity to increase the conviction rate for murders.
This government is committed to improving not the working conditions of the police force and to providing the police with adequate resources to fight the criminal network.
The project, which started in January 2018, will end in March 2023. It is being funded by the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB. In the meantime, 4 additional family courts are to be built in St. Anne's, St. Thomas, Spanish Town, and Port Moore. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck says this will be done as part of the approximately $200 million European Union funding support, which is being provided to finance institutional strengthening in the justice sector.
We want to see results in terms of the court system themselves responding to the case backlog. We need to ensure that when our citizens access the courts, that they can have their matters settled in a timely manner.
Minister Chuck made the disclosure recently while speaking at the opening ceremony for the 11th Annual Restorative Justice Conference. The Family Court is governed under the Judicature Family Court Act and is responsible for all legal proceedings relating to family life except for divorces. And finally, the Electoral Office of Jamaica, EOJ, has confirmed that 2 candidates were duly nominated on Wednesday to contest the March 2 by-election in the Clarendon Southeastern constituency. Independent candidate Derek Lambert was nominated at 11:04 a.m., while the Jamaica Labour Party representative, Pernell Charles Jr., was nominated at 12:55 p.m. Nominations took place at the Vdrl Technical High School. The Electoral Office says it will now advance its preparations for Election Day on March 2. The election in Clarendon Southeastern marks the 6th parliamentary by-election to be held since the 2016 general election. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Water is precious. So we encourage everyone to practice the 4 R's of water conservation. Always remember to reduce your use of water wherever possible. Replace water wasting devices with water savings devices. Reuse water wherever possible. And wherever leaks are found, please repair them and repair them quickly.
Don't delay. Practice the 4 R's of water conservation today.
Water conservation measures were recently announced by the government as we approach the coming dry season. But with this, efforts are ongoing to tap into our natural resources to make the precious commodity available to deep rural farming communities.
Farmers, the lifeline of the food chain. Water, the precious resource that helps to grow the food we love. Put them together and we get an agriculture sector that will produce on a consistent and sustainable level. So the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries is continuously implementing projects to connect farmers with water through initiatives like the Government of Jamaica Adaptation Fund program. The agriculture component of the GOJ Adaptation Fund program is to build farmers' resilience against climate change. With over $250 million Jamaican dollars in funding, farmers in vulnerable communities are being trained in best practice methods such as land husbandry and equipped for rainwater harvesting and improved irrigation infrastructure. Beneficiaries are small farmers in the parishes of Trelawney, St. Mary, Manchester, St. Catherine, St. Thomas, St. Anne, and Clarendon. We journeyed into the hills of Low River in southern Trelawney to look at the work being done to harvest and distribute water to the predominantly yam farming community.
The Low River Water Harvesting and Irrigation Scheme is just under $2 million. One of the systems that has been most far-reaching, the fact is that to date we have just about 70 householders that have been connected to the system, and that is directly impacting about 350 community members. This system comprises of an entombment. What we have done, we have improved the entombment. We have built a wall across this area here, about 5 to 6 feet in depth and about 12 feet across, and that has improved the water storage capacity significantly. It was about 9 feet prior to the intervention, and now the 6 feet that we have added brings it to about 14 feet in depth.
To increase the flow of the water from the hill, the 3-inch pipes which connected the system before were changed to 6-inch pipes.
And that is what accounts for the significant pressure that we observe down in the community.
Prior to the improved water system, community members would have to come here and catch water for domestic use, while the farmers had to go to the river to catch water for irrigation purposes.
So you no longer have to go to the river to take up water?
Me not think so.
That's the water that you farm
the pipe run, everything going in process. We don't have to go to the river. We don't have to pay the extra money for you to carry the water.
I think this water system would help us better now.
Presently, we have an approximately 470 farmers who benefit from the system. These farmers presently cultivate some 267 hectares of land. We are encouraging farmers to farm what we call climate-smart agriculture. And this project certainly is a way to assist these farmers in order for them to produce all year round and in order for them to support, especially the import substitution program that the government is presently promoting.
The Low River Water Project was started in 2014 by the residents and Councillor of the Lorimer's Division, Paul Patmore. By enhancing the water system, the Government of Jamaica Adaptation Fund program was able to not only increase the flow of water, but also ran pipes along the main, and the residents took it a step further.
They have gone ahead and invested in pipes, in black tanks, to take the water from our distribution line into their household. So this is a real partnership between the community and the project. Many of the farmers have testified that they are able to go back into production, expand their production, and quite a number of householders are now living more comfortable in terms of having access, increased access to water, both for irrigation as well as domestic purposes. The greenhouse that was out of operation because of the lack of water, preparation is being made as we speak to recommission that greenhouse into production. Transportation comes as far as from St. Anne, Clarendon, Manchester to collect water, to carry back to those communities to service farmers as well as community householders for domestic as well as irrigation use.
The next phase of the Low River Water Project is to connect the farmers with on-farm irrigation systems.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica.
Original. The Licensed Center of Excellence caters to students post-primary, 13 years and up, who have been assessed and who have been diagnosed to be on the intellectually disabled spectrum. That means they're either mild to moderate. The Digital Foundation was kind enough to give us this wonderful school so St. Thomas can cater more to these children who need special attention. This institution opened its doors September 2017. We have a wonderful team here. We have teachers who love children. We have an administrative and an ancillary staff who loves children. Most naturally, the campus coordinator loves children. So we are here catering to the needs of these children because we believe in adding value. These children have a lot to offer, but you can only unearth it with patience, with love, and with care. Because if they don't trust you, you can't win them. And so, we want these children to be independent. We want them to contribute to their families, to their communities, and the society at large. And so we're preparing them for the working world. So at the Licensed Center of Excellence, we are skill-based. There is room for improvement, and we welcome the hands to share so that we can care more. We offer theater arts. Yes, the children can do a little. We communication. We do math, but not the math you know of trigonometry. No, we are teaching them how to balance their books. So they know a lot of measurement and of course money. We offer to them home economics, food preparation, and a little clothing and textile. As you walk around our lovely campus, it's green vegetation. So we do a little bit of agriculture and we're able to give to our kitchen, and the children can get to take home. Of course at a cost, because we're teaching them that everything comes with a cost, because we need money to do other things. My students are interesting and we listen to them. One boy said to me, "Miss, me no want the way you do the school and I'm want to fill your block." And so I went out into the wider community and we're actually teaching our students how to lay blocks, and they're enjoying it. In special, a lot of emphasis is placed on life skills. And life skills is taught in all the subject areas with extra emphasis coming from the guidance departments. So of course, Licensed Center of Excellence is the place to be.
My classroom is a corporate space. I facilitate learning. My students learn from each other. They help each other during the learning process. Enabling them, I make certain that I encourage them that there's nothing that they cannot do. And the motivation that they get from being a part of my classroom, the fact that we differentiate learning too in there and tiered activities are used, it makes no child feel left out.
What I love about the Licensed Center of Excellence, it's a level playing field. We exclude no one. So all activities, if it means you're to get assistance, be it from a classmate, a teacher, or from an ancillary worker, you're going to get the assistance, because we believe in excellence. Excellence for all.
Mosquitoes will breed in containers that hold water. Tightly cover water storage containers such as drums, buckets, and tanks, or cover the water surface with cooking oil. Punch holes in all tins, plastic containers, and boxes to prevent the collection of water before disposal. Cover old tires or fill with dirt. Scrub all vases once per week to remove mosquito eggs and dispose of garbage by placing in plastic bags. Do your part to prevent mosquito breeding. A message from the Ministry of Health.
The call to give blood is never ending, as there is always the need for it. And that's why the government has put the necessary equipment in place to process your donation and make it safe for others to receive.
As long as man is around to get sick or injured, blood will remain a high-demand substance for health practitioners. But for all its wonderful properties, the life-saving bodily fluid could become a death sentence if not handled properly. For those who need their supplies boosted, health workers cannot simply hook up a needle and feed the red and white cells from another individual straight to the needy bloodstream.
It's not just a simple matter of collecting blood, finding out what the group is, and then passing it on to the recipient. There are lots of other things that go into providing safe blood.
Think of blood like a home. Certain fundamental things like walls, floors, and ceilings are common to all, but the little things you put in over the years and experiences you have within those spaces make each unique to its owner. Like your home, blood can change owners, but you have to make some adjustments to have it meet the needs of the new recipient. That is what the technicians and health workers have to do before blood that is donated can be passed on to someone in need. The first step is to screen the donor to determine their medical history and suitability to donate.
The screening is aimed at 1, protecting the donor, and 2, protecting the potential recipient.
After that, it's a matter of sterilizing the donor's arm and proceeding to draw the blood. From there, the blood is taken to the lab, where it goes through a series of tests. Technicians look for things like blood groupings such as A, B, O, and Rh types, antibodies in the red blood cells, venereal diseases such as syphilis, HIV, the virus that causes AIDS, hepatitis B and C, which affect the liver, and HTLV, human T-cell lymphotropic virus type 1 and 2, a virus that weakens the immune system. At the island's blood bank, the National Blood Transfusion Service, tests such as these are carried out daily. For each unit of blood drawn, 2 sample tubes are also collected. These are referred to as the red and purple top. For accuracy, data on the tubes must correspond with the main bag. The purple top sample is used to screen for antibodies and blood groupings. Blood grouping is just as important as the infectious screening. This ensures compatibility for the recipients, that is, people of the same blood group receiving the same blood type.
We do our ABO grouping here at the blood bank using the Diamed system. This technology is a gel system. It has microtubules, otherwise we call it as wells, and it has our anti-sera already in these wells.
A drop of the donor blood is placed into each of these wells. It is incubated and put in a machine that spins the substance at a high speed. After this process, a reading is given.
This is an example of a blood group. We can read it macroscopically. This is reading O negative based on the cells that are seen here.
In Vdrl testing, which checks for syphilis, a small amount of the serum or the white part of the blood is dropped into a tube and then incubated at 56 degrees Celsius. After 30 minutes, it is taken from the incubator, placed on a slide, mixed with an antigen, and then rotated at 180 degrees for 4 minutes. The slide is then placed under a microscope for reading. A positive sample for syphilis would show signs of lumps or flocculation. Samples from the main lab are taken over here for the human immunodeficiency virus HIV screening, as well as the human T-cell lymphotropic virus HTLV and hepatitis B and C screenings. The different reagents or chemical compound for each of these viruses are added to the blood samples and placed in this machine. The reagent will cause a color change to the sample, indicating a positive reading.
Basically, it interprets this color change to a numerical value, which we can quantitate. Either if it's positive, it tells us the degree of positivity based on the numerical value, and if it's negative, we also get a numerical value, but we also have a cutoff value which can tell us whether it's negative or positive.
Whole blood is never administered as part of safety measures. The whole blood is separated into components: red blood cells or packed cells, plasma, or white cells.
If you had a patient who was anemic, who is in heart failure, and you gave whole blood, you're giving that person a lot of plasma unnecessarily. They really need the packed cells component. Not only is it unnecessary, but you put them at added risk of making the heart failure worse. So it is important to give just the component that is required.
And the safety procedure doesn't end there. A cross-matching process is also done to identify minor blood groups that might interfere with a successful transfusion process. But once all the tests are done to satisfaction and the separation process is completed, you can rest assured that the blood to be administered is safe.
The ECJ will be renewing all voter ID cards. Visit any EOJ constituency office or voter ID card renewal center if your card has an issue date of 2015 or before. Cards with issue dates 2016 or later will automatically be reprinted. The ECJ will notify cardholders when cards are ready. Current ID cards will be valid until December 2020. For more information, contact the ECJ.
It's time to go, but not before this word from the late author and spiritual teacher Eileen Caddy. Gratitude helps you to grow and expand. Gratitude brings joy and laughter into your life and into the lives of all those around you. Remember to give thanks in all things. Do join us again tomorrow for another exciting program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.